Let's talk about how to get in front of a bigger audience really, really fast. Over the last couple of years, this has blown up for me. In fact, a few years ago, I used to have video views per month of about 7,000 views a month. Today, that's more like 7 million views per month, a 100-fold increase. And there's been a few things that have worked incredibly well. So there's two parts to this that I want to talk about first. The first part is people discovering that you exist. And then the second part is that they need to get to know you after they discover you. So we're going to break it down into those first two steps, and then I'll tell you how to get people to engage with you. So part number one is that they have to notice you. They have to discover that you exist. And there's a few things that are going on in the brain that allows people to discover you. So here's the terrifying news. The terrifying news about the human brain is it's really, really good at filtering people out. You've had an experience of this. You've been walking down a busy road, and at the end of the busy street, you've passed hundreds of people. You can't remember anyone you walked past. If you had a police officer who said, give me a description of anyone who you walked past on that street, you'd literally be able to name 0 people. You'd have no people because your brain just filtered them out. There are only 5 types of people who get noticed, and I'm going to walk you through the 5 types of people who get noticed, and I think they're going to surprise you. Some of them you'll already know. The first type of person you might notice is someone who's scary. They're a threat. They look like they could beat you up. If you're walking down a street and someone seems scary, that is someone you will definitely notice. Right? So we have a threat detection system in our brain. Now, how do you harness that? You talk about stuff that's scary. You talk about pain. You talk about things that people are afraid of. You talk about negative stuff. You talk about negative trends. We know that the news does this. We can hijack attention by talking about negative stuff. So anything that's scary gets noticed. You can talk about stuff that is negative consequence based or negative outcome based. That's number one. Number two, strange. Anything that is out of the ordinary, anything that seems counterintuitive, anything that's different, anything that I've never heard before. If it's completely novel, if it's new, if it's strange, I'm going to notice it. So in a busy street, I might notice someone walking down the street dressed as a giant chicken, right? Because that's novel and new, I would notice it. Online, if people see that you're talking about something that's very counterintuitive, something that they've never heard about before, they're going to notice that as well. The third one is sexy or desirable. So this is where you talk about the desirable outcome. This is where you talk about what's cool, what's interesting, what's engaging about what you do, what's the magical end result, right? What's the fantasy of what it is that you do, right? So that's the next S. So far, the 3 S's: scary, strange, and sexy. Those are 3 things that get noticed. Let's go to the next 2, which are the most powerful. So the first one is giving away free value. Free value gets noticed. If you're walking down the street and someone was giving out free products, or they're giving away free magazines, you would totally notice them. Whether you take one or not would be different, but you would totally notice someone who's giving away free value. So being the person who's generously giving away free stuff, it's called moving the free line in marketing. If you're the one to move the free line and you give away more free stuff than others, that definitely gets noticed. And then the final one is the familiarity. People who show up 11 times. Right? So we have a little system in our brain that if we've seen you 11 times, we notice you and we recognize you. It's the familiarity thing in the brain. So keep showing up every single day. If you're posting every single day, if you literally never skip a day, if you're posting and posting and posting and posting, by the time people see you 11 times, they go, oh, I know that person. That person is familiar to me. So we've got 3 S's, we got 2 F's. We got scary, strange, sexy, free stuff, and familiarity. Those are the 5 things that get noticed. Quick interruption. It's really important that people see you as a key person of influence. When you're showing up online, especially in front of bigger audiences, they need to recognize that you're a key person of influence. To do that, I want to walk you through a strategy, but it takes 90 minutes, and I want to put you through a live workshop where we start to position you as a key person of influence. The live workshop's coming up in the next week. I'd love for you to register so that we can get hands-on around this strategy in a live environment. You can ask questions, I can answer questions, and we can get you to show up as a key person of influence. Click the link in the description below and you can register for that, and then let's get back to the video. Okay, the way you're gonna package up and deliver this is you can use all of these, you can do all 5, but I want you to use them with short form content. The way that you get discovered is through short form. So short videos that are less than a minute, short posts that are very easy to read, short little images or carousels, any of that really easy to discover content that flies through the screen. That's the key to being discovered. So for me personally, we massively increased the amount of short form content that was going out. 1, 2, 3 posts on each platform every single day. I would take a big long YouTube video or a big long podcast that I'd done, and we'd snip it up into 50 little short videos, and we'd just be pumping those out every single day. We were focusing on the big 5 things that get noticed: scary, strange, sexy, free value, and familiarity, right? So we're leveraging all 5 of those in each of those little short pieces of content. So what I want you to do is just increase the volume of short content, and that means you're going to get noticed by more people. Now, when people notice you, they then want to get to know you. It's like, oh, who is this person? I keep seeing them in my feed. They've become familiar to me. They keep talking about some interesting common sense. They keep sharing little snippets of ideas. Who is this person? I want to get to know them. I'm sick of seeing short form content. I want to watch some long form content. So long form content. Ideally, long podcasts that people can listen to, maybe half an hour, maybe as much as 2 hours, where someone can actually engage in a podcast episode. You absolutely must get yourself onto a podcast episode, at least one, so that people can go and find that, or you can share that with people so they can really get to know you by spending half an hour to 2 hours with you. Another piece of long form content would be YouTube videos. Anything that's about 10 minutes to 20 minutes is a long form piece of content where people really get to know you. It's where they feel like they deepen the relationship with you. The other type of long form content is written long form content. So you could produce reports, you could produce long posts on LinkedIn, for example, or ideally you could even do a book. Right? When people have read your book, oh my goodness, do they feel connected to you as the author. So they've discovered you through that short form content and they get to know you through that long form content. So you need both. So the next key is to get them to engage. It's not enough for them to be anonymous lurkers who are just consuming your content. They need to step out of the shadows, they need to reveal themselves, and they need to signal that they're interested in more from you. So we need to give people little bridges where they can bridge across and say, hey, I'm interested, I've listened to your long form content, I would now like to engage with you. So we need ways for people to engage. Google did some research on this. They called it decoding the decision and they called it the messy middle. And what they said is that you should have about 2 to 4 really interesting experiences for people to engage with that is off your social media platforms. So for example, you could have an online scorecard, you could have an online webinar that you run, you could have a mini course that people can enroll for, you could have a discussion group that people join. All of those are opt-in interactive things where people go from consuming the long form content to interacting with you more and revealing more about themselves. So the best and most easy way to do this is to have an online scorecard. If you have an online scorecard that links to your long form content, people consume the long form content and then they go and take your online assessment or your online scorecard. Another version of that would be an online webinar where people consume the long form content and then register for your online webinar. Really powerful little system. So let's link it all together. People are discovering you for the first time through the short form content. They then want to get to know you by consuming some long form content, and then they want to engage with you by having a few things to do, like a scorecard, an assessment, a quiz, a webinar, or a discussion group where they can register and engage with you. Now, if you can set up those 3 things, you're going to build your audience online. You're going to build a big audience, an engaged audience, and it's going to translate into sales as well. So based on those 3 pillars, how would you rate your activity? Let me know below. Are you strong with your short form, your long form, or your engagement? Have you got all 3? Are you lacking in some of those? I'd love to start the discussion in the comments below. And also, if you want to create one of those engagement tools, check out scoreapp.com so that you can actually set up an online scorecard or an online assessment or an online webinar in the most easy and fun way possible. Okay, leave me a comment, like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. All the best.